basically Americans, because not only have you gone through all this with your Toronto mayor, but today I just read instead of throwing him out of office, you Canadians have given him his own TV show with his brother. So clearly, you are taking a page out of the American book. Oh, Beth, I'm so sorry to hear that. Good grief. But please, we're here for you. So I mean, just email us whatever you need. Absolutely. Yeah, Chris, they just announced they're giving both of them a TV show. It's just insanity here. Yeah. Kelly says we should send all the politicians to reality TV. Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, couple more minutes and we will get started. Sorry, I'm just kind of laughing at some of the comments. I really expected much more from Canada, or much less drama. It's sad that you guys are going the way of the reality TV that we are. All right, we got about 1 or 2 more minutes to go. We still got people joining us. Just me tonight. Aiden is, as I was saying earlier, Aiden is in Vietnam and trying to avoid the storm of the millennium or the planet's history or whatever the hell that thing is. Good grief. Maura, you do have some catching up to do, but no worries. You can do it. That's all good. Oh, sorry, it's not a TV. No, it's a TV show. Yeah, yeah, no, no. I know they had the radio show, but they're also. I just saw it in the news. Literally like 15 minutes ago. They're getting a TV show now too. Yeah, somebody just posted the link. We're talking about the Canadian, not any of us. We're talking about the. Apparently, what you have to do to get your own show is become the mayor of a big city in Canada and smoke crack, and then you can get your own TV show because he's a wild and wacky guy. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth. William, that's a good question. William's asking about our VAs in the Philippines. Honestly, we kind of lost touch with them because, as I was saying, I think last week, we've kind of had our own employees for several years now in Pakistan. So we don't do that traditional outsourcing anymore, um, the way we've been talking about it here. So I don't actually know, but I certainly hope they're okay. They were very, very nice people. So, all right, give one more minute. We still got some people joining us, and we're a little more casual tonight. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Oh, geez. People are chiming in about some workers they have in the Philippines that they're doing okay, but there are other people that are missing. Yeah, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Very sad. All right. Well, why don't we just get started? It is 8:02, and we'll get the ball rolling here. I'm kind of in a weird mood tonight, a little silly mood tonight. So sorry about that in advance. But we're gonna have an easy and quick evening today because we're kind of in transition mode right now. So we've sort of been through the meat of the material for Trinity Code, and now we've got more to do with Trinity Code Elite and CrowdForce, and just kind of taking things to the next level and figuring out, okay, what are we going to be doing together from this moment on? And we've got, as you'll see as we talk through tonight, we've got about the next 30 days planned out, and then we'll tell you what we think we're going to be doing after that. But it's open for some discussion and for some feedback from you guys and stuff like that. So we'll kind of go through all that. But we're in transition mode, and we deserve it. This is our 10th webinar, and every webinar we've done, we've gone over 90 minutes, and we've just all been doing a lot of work. So tonight we're going to take it easy, and as I said, I think this will be a quick webinar tonight. There have been some pretty big YouTube changes, and boy, is no one happy. And by that I mean not necessarily marketers. I just mean everyone, including the founder of YouTube, or the original guy who created YouTube. And man, I think they've gotten I don't know, damn near 1 million signatures on a petition, and oh, good grief! But Google's not going to change it; they don't care. So because nobody's going to stop using YouTube. So, but we'll talk about it. It's not. I don't think it's actually. I don't really think it's good, bad, or indifferent. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Although we're still trying to figure out if there's a way that we can leverage it a little bit more. But more to come on that. But I don't think it's any big deal. But we just need to start talking about it. We've got some. I wrote this as quick updates, but there's actually some substantial changes to CrowdForce. I previewed what they were going to be last week, and the programming team has done a fantastic job because they've delivered damn near all of them already. And in fact, there's a new release out. It was out, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 hours ago. If you guys were playing around with CrowdForce and you restarted it, you would have seen a new release come out. So we need to kind of dive into that a little bit and just tell you what's new, because there's a lot. And we've made some changes to Facebook within CrowdForce, and we've gotten a suggestion from somebody who's had some really good success with a bit of a sniper method for Facebook, which we've not done. But one of the members here was reporting back to us about it, and it's really quite good. Talk a little bit about Yahoo Answers tonight, and we have also released the multiple logins for outsourcers that we talked about last week, and so that's available, and so we need to talk about that, and just a little bit about kind of where we go from here. So we're in this transition period, and what are we going to do? So we'll talk about that. Okay. All right, let's go. So yeah, and people were talking about this before, the way that you comment. So the change is that you must have and use a Google Plus account now to comment on videos. Now this can be a business page or a business account, so it doesn't necessarily have to be your personal one. It doesn't change the sniper method at all, because if you remember, that's basically just trying to get your link on someone else's video. And I'm going to put up some, tomorrow morning I'll put up some resources that I've been using to sort of just understand a little bit more about how they interact, how Google Plus interacts with YouTube and things like this. And we're still experimenting with the best way to leverage this, and we will report back, and you can feel free to experiment as well. You can't do the wrong thing. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen, right? But bottom line is, it's kind of like, what I sort of liken it to is when you're on a blog and you have to log in to discuss or something like that. There's I can't remember the other ones now, but there's a few of them like that. Sorry, just taking a drink there. There's a few of those out there that sort of function as a universal login for you to be able to comment on blogs. And to me, it's pretty much the same kind of thing. I mean, obviously, there's a little bit of more to it because of the social aspects of Google Plus, but you don't have to use those. So I think the takeaway is, doesn't change the sniper method at all. Think of it as you would like the discuss kind of module for blog commenting, and essentially you just have to be logged into your Google Plus account in order to comment on YouTube videos. And I do really think that there is, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on. Next week for me is going to be a little bit of a retreat in research and comparing notes with industry people on all these different social media sites. So I actually do think that we're going to have an opportunity to leverage Google Plus a lot more and figure out how to leverage it with YouTube also. So I think in the end that this is going to be a good thing for us. Um, but there's more work to be done, kind of experimenting with that. And also, we'd like to hear back from you guys too, because as we're going to talk about kind of where we go from here, this partnership of kind of traffic development strategies does work best when we can hear from you guys as well, and then we'll share it with the group. Okay, but that is the big change. Okay, so let's talk about CrowdForce. Lots of changes, and I'm gonna just go through them and then quickly show them, and or at least some of them, and that way everybody can have an idea of what's going on with CrowdForce. Now, these are changes that I did go through last week that we had promised to deliver, and as I said, the programming team did a great job. So we are currently at version 0.26. So if you close CrowdForce and reopen it, you will see that message on the dashboard saying, hey, this is the latest version. Here's where you can get it if the auto update doesn't work. We have great progress on fixing the auto update. Mine was one of the ones that was broken. It is fixed for 0.26. For me, 0.26 auto updated by itself. So hopefully that will take care of this problem. It is, and it remains pretty hard to nail down. It's some combination of computers and operating systems and all this other, Adobe Air versions and blah, 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 that, stop the auto update from happening. So the symptom there is, it's when you start CrowdForce, it says, hey, you've got an update. Do you want to download it now? And you say yes, and you download it, and then the application restarts, but it doesn't update itself. It stays at the old version. So you're caught in this loop where it just comes up and it just says, hey, you got a new version, you want to download it, right? So that's not terribly helpful. So if you are in that mode, what you need to do is just say, no, I don't want to update, cancel. And you will see on the dashboard, and let me just pull up CrowdForce here quickly. And you'll see on the dashboard, and don't forget, guys, you can you'll be able to zoom in on this on the replay, and you can zoom in while I'm on here too. But you can see under the updates and information screen, it says alert. You should be using version 0.26, and if you need to, it gives you a web address to download that version, and that's what you do. Just copy that, paste it into a browser, you download that file, and then you run that file and it'll update it, and it will work successfully. Okay, so that's what you need to be doing. But as I said, auto update was fixed for me, so hopefully it'll be fixed for you if you were one of the ones that had that problem. So the first change, the scheduler starts in just manual mode. Okay, and over here you can see that this box here, run automatic scheduler after so many minutes, is unchecked, and this button says manually run scheduler. So what it defaults to, version 0.26, is that the scheduler is off. It will not run until you tell it to run. You can tell it to run in one of two ways. You can hit the manually run scheduler button, as you could before, and it will run it once. It'll go through everything. Okay. While it's running, and I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to suck up bandwidth, but while it's running, this button will change to say stop the scheduler. So you'll actually be able to stop it if you want to as well. Okay, so you can manually run it whenever you want. If it's sucking down your CPU or something like that and you want to do something else, you can stop it. And you can also check here, and then you can put it back to what it was doing before, which is, hey, I'm going to automatically run every X minutes, and you can change that. Okay, so you have complete and total control over the scheduler. It starts in just manual mode. It can be changed to auto, or it can be left in manual mode, and if it's in manual mode, it will not run until you push the button ever. Okay, and while it's running, whether it's an auto run or a manual run, that button will allow you to stop it from running. Okay. So hard to imagine any more flexibility that you can get in running the scheduler, but that is in version 0.26. We've added, it seems very subtle, but we've added the reverse shading. So up here you can see Now we actually know what module we're in, or what tab we're in. Okay, so we're in dashboard now, and if we go over to live feeds, now we'll be able to see that. It's a small thing, it's a subtle thing, but it actually makes a little bit of a difference. So that's been added. Bigger changes over on the opportunity page. And this was a big thing that people asked. They said, listen, I don't want to have to move it to the to-do tab or the to-do list. That's just not the way my workflow works. I just want to go right from the opportunity page and say that I've processed it. Okay, so you'll see, and this is a bit of a weird version because we use this for testing, so it's only got Yahoo Answers on here right now. But if I go over to opportunities, you'll see that I've got these new buttons here, and you can either add it to the to-do list, you can mark it as reviewed, or you can mark it as processed right from here. Now, when you mark it as processed, it does exactly the same thing as if you had moved it over to the to-do section, and then you marked it processed from there, which means that it actually marks it processed and archives it. Okay, so if you want to see that, you're going to have to go over to the to-do list, and you'll see you can select processed and archived, and you'll be able to see it. Okay. All right. Now, the other thing you can do is you can blacklist that URL. Okay. When you do that, it's going to be for that project only. And if you think about it, that really does make sense, because there might be a URL that is totally inappropriate for this project, but you don't want to just by default ban that URL for every single thing you might ever look at. Okay, so it's just for that project. Now, unfortunately, these are all Yahoo Answers, and because Yahoo Answers, it's all the same URL, so all the same domain. You can't blacklist that site. But if this wasn't Yahoo Answers or Facebook, YouTube, or Squidoo, then you can add it to the blacklist. All right, so mostly right now it's for forums and blogs, obviously. So you can press this button, add it to the blacklist, and then you will not see opportunities from those sites again. Okay, so right from the opportunity page, you can blacklist the URL for that project only, but not for these modules. Okay. Oh yeah, this was a big one. Hovering displays the URL now. Okay, so if you hover over it, you'll see you can see the whole URL. All right, not terribly helpful with Yahoo Answers, but it's helpful with other opportunities. Okay, so this was another big one that people ask for quite often. Oh, and then maybe the biggest thing, the confirmation pop-ups are gone. So if I go over here and I say add it to the to-do list, it just goes away. Woo! No pop-ups. All right, so they're completely gone. All right, so hopefully I think everybody will be. I'm hearing applause in the background. Awesome, good stuff. Okay, so those are big. This was another big one. On the to-do list, you can change something. But what people said is, listen, there's sometimes when I add something on the to-do list, but I didn't really, I decided I don't want to do it anymore. So what you can do is you can archive it, okay? And you can archive it and it'll go away as it just did. And you'll know the difference, right, between whether you actually did it or not, because it will not have been processed, but it's still archived. So that is a way to essentially remove it from your to-do list, okay? Because you changed your mind, or you reevaluated it and something else changed and it wasn't appropriate to do anymore. So that's fine. We've recorded that you reviewed it. We've recorded that it made it the to-do list, and then you simply archived it rather than actually processed it. Okay. Let me just make. I'm just looking through any questions to see if there's anything. Okay, good. Everyone looks like Okay, here's a question. If you blacklist the URL, then will it be removed from the new list, from the opportunity list that has already been generated? Oh, I see. Will it go back and, I actually don't know the answer to that, Jeff. So I'm gonna have to take that question to the programmers because I did not try that, or I didn't actually see if it did that. So I'm not 100% sure. Where are the archives saved? They're saved right in the same database. You can always review your archives. They never disappear. It's just an ever-growing database, which I guess at some point will get us into trouble, but it doesn't take up that much room, so I don't think we're going to be in that much of a big deal. Okay. All right, so on to some other CrowdForce changes, but those are some of the really big ones that we talked about last week. Okay, Facebook. So we've got some bug fixes and changes in the live feed gathering. So if we go over to live feeds, there's a couple new things here. Um, the Facebook feeds, the live feed has been changed to go and grab live feeds every 30 minutes, okay, as opposed to what I think was every 30 seconds before. So 30 minutes is much more reasonable. But you can always go and fetch feeds manually, okay? Again, I'm not going to do that here, but you can control this a little bit like the scheduler. But this one, you can't stop from auto running, but it'll only go over 30 minutes, and it's not very taxing on the processor or anything like that. But if you want to, you can go and tell it to go out and do it manually. To change the login credentials, now this is a big deal that was quite the pain in the neck in the past and didn't work for some people. And so now all you need to do is go up here and hit this button, clear Facebook credentials. Okay, so follow this instructions. Use the new button, clear Facebook credentials on the live feed page. Then click the fetch feeds button. And when you do that, okay, a new credential box will pop up. Okay, so that you can then change the Facebook account. Okay. Now, this only works if Facebook module is in use for at least one project. Okay, so if I did this on here, it wouldn't work because right now this test version was only playing with Yahoo Answers. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. This is just a suggestion. We had one of the Trinity Code members is having great success. He found an opportunity with Facebook, and so he was following it and tracking his live feed. But he decided to reach out to the owner of the page, and he said, "Hey, listen, if I throw you a couple bucks, will you put a post on your page?" Like once a day for the week or something. And the guy said, yeah, sure. And so he did it, and he got just gobs and gobs of traffic. So it's something that you definitely should consider. It's just like a Squidoo snipe or a YouTube snipe. Essentially, you just reach out to these people who own these properties, and you just say, hey, are you interested in my site? Can I throw you a couple bucks? Can I send you a six-pack, whatever. That used to work for the college kids, but and he was doing great with that, getting some really, really targeted, really, really fantastic traffic. So that is good stuff. All right. So we got a bit delayed with Yahoo Answers. We were supposed to deliver that last week, and we had a problem. So it's delivered now. With version 0.26, and I kind of went over all how to do that last week, so I'm not gonna go over that again, but please look at the replay and all that kind of good stuff. But Yahoo Answers is now working and is available for everyone to use. Okay, multiple logins. All right, we got another new button for multiple logins. All right, so here's what we need to do. Right up here in the upper right hand corner, you've got something new now, which is manage users. Okay, so you click on manage users, and you'll have the ability to add up to 4 sub users. Okay, and these are for your outsourcers. And the way you do that is you just hit the create user button, and you put in their email address, their first name, and their last name, and you hit add user. And what that will do is it'll set up security for them, and it will send them an email with a system generated password. Okay. Now, currently, there's no way to delete the 4 that you have. Okay, but you will have that ability next week. Okay, by probably by Wednesday. We just didn't want to open up because this uses our central security system. We didn't want to just unload all of this at once, okay, without some serious testing. So in the meantime, if you do need to delete something, you just put a support ticket in, we'll delete it for you. But it'll be less than a week before you'll be able to delete users. And so that'll be if you have somebody that you want to use for an outsourced job for a month or two, and then you don't want them to have access to CrowdForce anymore, you simply delete them, okay, and then you can add someone else. And again, as I said, you'll have 4. If you need more, you let me know, okay? Just tell me kind of what you're doing, and we'll figure it out, all right? Because this is kind of new for us, but it's something that I think has incredible value, and we want to make sure it's useful, okay? So so it's just as simple as that, and people will immediately get an email that will tell them where to download the latest software, and we'll give them a password, and they will have a functioning version of CrowdForce to use with a couple of caveats, which I'll talk about in 1 second. So you get that other new button. It's in the upper right-hand corner. It's always in the upper right-hand corner. You can add users now. Deleting will come next week. If you have, if you need to delete something before then, just put a support ticket in. As I talked about and went over all the details last week, we're working on all those exports and imports, and as I kind of laid out in my here's the way we're going to do outsourcing. So that's coming. But you will notice last week I did go over how I would do outsourcing now. So immediately by having these multiple logins, you should be able to do a form of outsourcing that I think is pretty efficient. Okay, and it's only just going to get better as we get the exports and imports and all that kind of stuff going. All right. So like I said, up to 4 can be created. Sub users can't create other sub users, so there won't be any of that. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. All right. So once you give an outsourcer access to CrowdForce and they log in using their credentials, they won't be able to create other credentials for other people to log into CrowdForce. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, let me just check and make sure that people are. Brian got that's nice, Brian. 200 visitors yesterday. Awesome. That's correct. Only on one computer. Doesn't sync across computers. That's kind of what I went through last week, our plan with exports and imports. I still do get questions about this all the time. So it does not sync across computers. And there is no cloud sync. There is none of that. All right. But we did put together some specifications last week that I presented that people seem to, sort of agree with, that it made sense on how we're going to do basically delegation to outsourcers who have their own version of CrowdForce. Okay. So Peg's asking, can CrowdForce be used on multiple computers within the household with the same login? It can, but as I keep saying, and again I do get this question still, it does not share data. So you can put it on multiple computers, but the 2 limitations are you can't be running CrowdForce at the same time under the same user ID, and it can't share any data. Okay. All right. So Jeff, so there's some questions still about how do outsources work then. The best thing to do, because I went over this all last week in pretty big detail as to how to do outsourcing today. Well, and by that I really meant when you get the ability to have these 4 extra quote unquote logins. So I went through all that because the instances of CrowdForce do not share any data. Okay, so you can't set up a to-do list and then automatically somebody in the Philippines logs into CrowdForce and they can see that to-do list. It doesn't work that way. But we will have a version of that as we get to exporting and importing and delegation rules and things like that, which we're working on. But there are still efficient ways to do outsourcing without that. And that's what I went over last week. Okay, so that would be workshop 9 if you want to watch the replay on that. Instructional videos for outsourcers. You know, you can give them your ID to get into Trinity Code. For now, that's probably the best way to do it. And you know, I think that that's probably the best way. Or you can download the videos. Pretty much, you know, 100% of the videos that are in Trinity Code are downloadable for you guys. So if you want to do that, you could do it. You could do it for sure. Are you willing to recommend good outsourcers? I'm willing. As I think we talked, I think Aiden and I talked about this last week. You know, we're suffering from a little bit of lack of experience now because we haven't really done it like you guys are going to do it for a few years now, ever since we kind of built our own company in Pakistan. So, you know, it's really, we really did is we insourced, sort of, you know. It just became, and that was just for financial reasons, you know, it made more sense for us to have permanent employees. I mean, we've got, you know, we pay for an office building in Pakistan. So, you know, it just made more sense for us. You reach a certain scale and you need those sort of full-time employees. So we had to insource. I don't really have, we had good experiences with agents of value, which are Philippine outsourcers. And so, you know, but admittedly, you know, those experiences are several years old at this point. So, yeah, James is asking, can we supervise our outsourcers? If not, when can we do that? Yeah, again, I outlined all this last week. I sort of set up a way to, you know, check in with them, and Aiden and I went back and forth and talked about how we would set up a whole outsourcing plan. So I definitely encourage you to watch last week's webinar when we talked all about this. And there is going to be a much better way to check up on them once we get this whole importing and exporting going. But you can still do it now. I mean, without a doubt, you can create a very, very efficient outsourcing methodology. Rex, what you can do is you can have if you gave him your password. Rex is asking, how do I get unpregnant? My outsourcer already has a copy of CrowdForce. You can change your password. And then what you can do is just set them up so that they have their own password. That way they can never use yours again. They can still use the same version of CrowdForce they have. They'll just be using it with a different user ID. Okay. Let's see. What about someone logging into my computer and then using CrowdForce? You can do that. Yep. That's kind of a variation on, you know, what we had talked about last time. All right. Oh, Bev, are you asking who is the outsourcer? That was Agents of Value, and it's agentsofvalue.com. I'm guessing that's what you probably are talking about. Is it likely in the future you could employ more staff so Trinity Code clients could use your company to outsource? Yeah, we're not going to become VAs. You know, we don't want to be in that business. So no, not exactly. You know, we're going to be putting together, you know, kind of what we do now and we currently do it now with CrowdForce anyway, but SEO packages, what we used to call SEO packages, traffic getting packages. You know, I mean, that's kind of where we're all headed, right? It's what we've all been talking about. To essentially do that, but it's not an outsourcer, it's a service, if you understand what I mean by that, you know. So, but no, we're not doing you know, virtual assistants. Okay. All right. Well, I think that kind of gets us through most of the questions. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about where we go from here. And these are the things I want to talk about. Ongoing support, contest results, uh, Elite, Trinity Code Elite, CrowdForce, leveraging this group for traffic. We've started to talk about that over the last couple of weeks. What the webinars are going to be from here, okay? Because we're going to change things up a bit. And just communication, overall communication. I don't have a separate slide on this, but we're going to give you guys weekly emails about what's going on, so that you're, make sure that you're in the loop. Now, I still get people. I got people today who said I never got the email for the webinar, and we sent it out. We send it out every week, but inevitably, email delivery nowadays, it just sucks. And God forbid it's email delivery for any kind of training or anything like that for Trinity Code. It's just, bottom line is a certain percentage just will never reach their destination. So we will also put everything up on the homepage of the members area, as we have been doing. Okay, so those are the two places to look, weekly emails. And if you're not getting those, just do a little bit of exploration in your trash and spam and promotions tab and God knows where else these things could end up, okay? But do a little digging, because we do send them, I promise. And then also just check the homepage of the members area, because we will always put stuff up there, okay? So ongoing support, I literally have people that are starting Trinity Code like today, okay? Because, life gets in the way. And people have had, honestly, people have had horrific things happen, and sometimes it's been good things. I had someone who was on a short-term, very lucrative, job that they had to do for a couple months, and now it's done. So that was kind of a good news kind of thing. But bottom line is, there are people starting today, which is totally okay. And we are going to work the program with them and we will do that for everyone on your schedule, okay? And continuing to work wherever you're at and whatever kind of roadblocks, you're encountering, we're here for you. So we're not going, my point is, we're not going anywhere, okay? And we will work on your schedule. But certainly for those of you who have been on schedule, more sites, helping, and by that I mean helping with more sites. So feel free to ask us about, more sites and, what should I do next and all that kind of stuff. Questions and advice, that you're running into, tweaking. Pretty much status quo, I guess is my point. We want to continue to take this to the next level with you guys, and so feel free. And I love getting business plans and talking about those, and I love doing due diligence on buying websites. We're actually looking at 2 e-com sites from people that were students of ours, and so I'm going to dive into 2 e-com sites that I think we're probably going to end up buying. And I just love doing that. It's a lot of fun. So, because I'm a spreadsheet nut. So if you have opportunities like that, I'm more than happy to take a look at those. Tim is great for looking at websites and making suggestions about design or conversion tactics and things like that. Aiden's good for everything, assuming he gets out of Vietnam. And so anyway, we'll try and send it to the right person depending on what you're asking for, okay? But certainly there's going to be no shortage of ongoing support. Okay. Contests. We've got, these are the contests that remain right now. We've got the team contest and the individual for most traffic after 30 and 60 and most revenue after 30 and 60. Okay. So the first one we have to attack is the most traffic after 30 and the most revenue after 30, because the 30 days are up. The 30-day time period was October 9th through December. Sorry, that should read November 9th. That was our 30-day time period. All right. So what I'd like everybody to do, even if you've done this before, because plenty of people have been giving us statistics along the way, but now that we are actually past, we're almost a week past the 30-day time period, what I'd like is for everyone to submit in a separate email. Please separate traffic and revenue in 2 different emails, and put traffic stats in the subject for traffic and revenue stats in the subject for revenue. This would help us out tremendously. Just let us know how much traffic you got, okay? And attach some kind of analytics login for us to verify. That would be helpful. And what we're looking for are unique visitors so that we can, kind of compare that to everybody. All right, so we're looking for unique visitors. Okay, and pretty much every analytics package will able to, enable you to do that. And for revenue, same kind of thing. Separate email. Put revenue stats as the subject, and give us some kind of screenshot if you could. It's a bit more of an honor system here because we're not going to log into people's payment accounts or anything. But this is a good group, small group, so we'll trust you. So please do this as soon as possible within the next week. Okay, that would help us tremendously, and that will get us to. You don't have to worry about teams or anything like that because we know what team you're on. So we can. All we need to do is get this information, and then we can figure out the rest from there. Okay, so 2 emails, one for traffic, one for revenue. Traffic is going to be its own email, subject traffic stats, give us total unique visitors. Revenue, its own email, subject equals revenue stats, and there you go. Let me just make sure there aren't any questions about that because I have a feeling. Let's see. Yes, no matter what it is. Yes. Holy crap, Alex, that's a huge number. All right, nobody give me your numbers now because then I'm going to get distracted. Like, Jesus, Alex. Where do you send that email to? Send it to the same email address we've been using here. So aidentimsteve@gmail.com. Okay. All right. All right, just let me make sure. Yeah, and it's from October 9th, and this is inclusive, October 9th through November 9th. Yep, there you go. Yeah. All right, Alex, what's your, since Alex was talking about how many he got, Alex, what do you think is the single reason you did so well there? So just if you have a single reason, I don't, because people are asking. So let me know. Okay, so yeah, so people seem to get that. Okay, so Elite. So this is one of the things that we've got going on is we just have a bunch of things that we'd like to get across to everybody that are, things like we've got some interesting experiments we've been doing with paid advertising on Facebook. And these are just optional things to do to Trinity Code type sites. And so we've got a video presentation on that. We've got a much more detailed PDF that Tim's doing on flipping websites. So, we talked a lot about that a couple weeks ago, where you can, make just a small amount of money with websites, but then turn around and sell them for, a pretty big multiple of earnings. And then there's another, I think I've got it outlined which ones are coming, but I can't remember honestly. So that, we're calling that Elite because it's basically stuff that we feel like we wanted to go over, but we didn't really have any place to put, and we thought it was kind of advanced tactics and things like that, things that you could take Trinity Code to the next level. So we're going to deliver that over the next few weeks, and we'll talk about the schedule in just a second. And as I said, we kind of have the next 30 days planned out for all this. We've got a webinar that we're going to do the week of December 9th or December 7th or whatever that is. And so we've got 30 days or so planned out. And then I'll tell you a little bit about where the variables start to hit. So with CrowdForce, what's happening is, obviously more and more enhancements. We're just working the list of suggestions and things, and people, again, I talked about this last week, have been so fantastic. We're focused really a lot on outsource support because we know that that's really important for everyone, and so you're seeing, the work that we're doing there and the feedback that we've gotten from everybody about the outline that we put together last week. Obviously, we still have additional modules that we want to keep going after. We think we've sort of accomplished the 80-20 rule, and now it's going to be a matter of, going after the ones that are a little bit longer tail, and what I think we've sort of developed after talking with the people that are using CrowdForce on a daily basis for our sites and stuff is that I think what would be beneficial to everyone and what we were trying to get at with sort of a day in the life of people using it is a playbook. And we've talked a lot about this. And essentially what we want are just like kind of like a training manual or standard operating procedures or like if you picture a big binder, and this could be a virtual binder obviously, but picture kind of a big binder and you just kind of go to the Squidoo tab and you take a look at 5 examples of projects and opportunities and ways to take advantage of those, and here's a screenshot and that kind of thing. And I think that that's what this whole thing has sort of developed into, that would be the most beneficial for everyone. So that's something that we want to really put together, package, and put a bow on it, and make available to you guys. And not just our employees, but we've got like Facebook Sniper Tactic, and there are a bunch of other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But take all the feedback from and experiences from this group, and our employees, because don't forget, guys, this is only before Trinity Code. All this stuff that we've been talking about has only been used by a small group of people, and so once we added a whole new set of eyes, we got different feedback, obviously, and new experiences and new ideas, and so it's time to kind of put those all together. So essentially a playbook of standard operating procedures for taking advantage of opportunities within CrowdForce. That's kind of what we feel is our next step. And then obviously I've alluded to this over the last couple of weeks, but the cooperative traffic building within this group. And here's a little heads up. I am going to be at the SMX Social Media Conference next week in Las Vegas. Just Google that. It'll come up. So if anybody is attending, please let me know. I'd love to buy you a drink, and say hi. I think that'd be fun. But what we're doing is we kind of need to take a little step back and just kind of refresh our engines a little bit. And what we want to do is look at, just like I talked about putting a playbook together for all the different opportunities within CrowdForce, we know that there are opportunities for cooperative traffic building. And the 2 best easy examples to use are like Yahoo Answers and forums, right? So if you have a group on a forum who are asking questions of each other that you can answer, or who are requesting information that you can provide, that would obviously be, and forget for the moment whether that's black hat, white hat, or gray hat, or whatever. But that would obviously be very, very powerful. It's being proactive. It's not just looking for opportunities. It's creating opportunities, right? So you can imagine that, or you can imagine Yahoo Answers, where somebody asks a pointed question that you could answer the best, and they could say your answer was number 1 and all that kind of good stuff. Well, there are a bunch of those opportunities that we could create, right? And so we just need to take a step back and say, okay, it's forums, it's Yahoo Answers, it's these 3 other ones, it's Google Plus, it's this or that, the other thing, and put together our attack plan. It's like, okay, this is what we're going to go after, and here's our plan to systematize it and use it, with and for everyone. Okay, so in other words, you would have the opportunity to be able to go somewhere where you can say, hey, I would really like someone to help me out on this forum. If you could post this question or this thought or this idea or whatever using this time frame, that would help me out. Okay, so that's the concept. And so I'm literally gonna use next week to hopefully hear a lot of new ideas about social media. Specifically Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, all the usual suspects. So I'm going to use it to kind of recharge my batteries, get some new perspectives from other people, and really think long and hard as I'm drinking and playing poker, and I mean that, about this kind of consolidating all of our ideas and how can we systematize this leveraging of traffic building. And this is why we've only got the next 30 days planned out, because this is really the most important thing to go after next. But we need we need some thinking time. So some thinking, some drinking, and poker time apparently. So that's what that entails. All right. Um, so please, anybody, I wonder if anybody's going on. I'm just looking to see. Couple questions here. Will you cover anything on PPC? Well, we do have something for Facebook ads, which is pay-per-click. I am part of the SMX social media conference. There is a one-day workshop add-on for AdWords, which normally I wouldn't go to because I kind of consider myself, I've been using AdWords for, almost a decade. And I used to spend, thousands and thousands of dollars a day. I'm a pretty big AdWords guy. However, the workshop is being run by the guy who, in my opinion, wrote the book. And now I can't remember his name, but I don't have my office set up because usually I can point to the book. It's David, starts with a G, but it's the guy who wrote the book on AdWords for the last, I don't know, 5-6 years. The book I recommend to everybody. And so he's really, really good, very, very knowledgeable in AdWords. And so I'm going to it. I doubt I'm gonna really learn anything new, but I might be surprised. And the only reason I'm going is because I have a lot of respect for the guy who's running it, because it's expensive. It's $1,000 for the day. So I better learn something. Actually, the more I think about it, but I'm going basically because I really dig this guy, and it's a book I've recommended for many, many years. And I think he's got the second edition out now. So anything we find out, we're gonna bring back to the group for sure. So absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, good. Just a lot of. All right, doesn't look like there's any. Conference name is it's SMX Social Media. Just do a search on that. It'll come up. It's the only one that's that's going on next week in Las Vegas, I'm sure. Kathy says, hopefully what happens in Vegas won't stay in Vegas. Yeah, well, nothing to do with internet marketing ideas anyway. So, Julie says his son is fake crying because he really wants to go to Vegas and play poker. Your son's not old enough to play poker in Las Vegas. All right. Yeah, no, it's not Perry Marshall. No. He's, Perry Marshall's a good AdWords guy, but in my opinion, this guy's better. He's not an internet marketer. He's an internet marketer, but he's not a guru. Like, he doesn't sell other products like Perry. Yeah. He wrote a really, it's a book. It's like 3 inches thick. It's like a real technical book on AdWords. It's not for, get rich quick kind of stuff. It's, yeah. Yeah, I know. Everybody's asking me. Yeah, that's it. It's Brad. Brad Geddes. Geddes. That's his name. Yep, that's him. Yep. Absolutely. Um, so there you go. And please, if you're gonna go, please do. And I'm not. By the way, I'm not recommending it. But I don't. I'm not shilling for this. It has nothing to do with me. I'm going as a participant. We try and go to like a couple a year. We're not big conference guys. We get asked to go all the time, and we don't go. And I usually pick like 1 or 2 a year that usually are in Vegas. To be fair. So Tib was yelling at me because, if that was in Delaware, you wouldn't be going. I'm like, you're damn right I wouldn't be going if it was in Delaware. But we try and pick stuff that's interesting to us, and that it's important. Like, we don't really like to network, we don't really like to small talk or anything like that, but it's really important to get other people's their perspective on things that are happening, and particularly when things are really hot, and all this stuff feeds CrowdForce. So for us, it's really, really hot. And yeah, so that's why I picked this one. Okay. All right. Who wants to go to All right, we got a lot of people talking about where they would and wouldn't go. Okay. All right, so that's leveraging the group. Now, so let's talk about from here. Over the next 3 weeks, we are taking a break, guys. I'm not even going to around next week. So next 3 weeks, we are not doing any webinars, but we will be having ongoing CrowdForce updates. And so again, circle back to how we're going to communicate: weekly emails and homepage for Trinity Code. We will be releasing some material though over the next 3 weeks. We've got 2 elite videos and 1 elite PDF. And I can remember what 2 of them are, and I cannot remember what the third is, and I apologize for that. But 2 of them are the Facebook paid advertising and flipping of websites. And we will do a webinar the week of December 9th because we need to gather the stats, because that is the end of the 60-day period. That will end December 9th. Okay. So we've got, and then what I'm shooting for is also to talk about the binder on that webinar, and to report back on the conference and my decisions about what's our plan for kind of taking this all to, you know, that leveraging the group level that we've been talking about. Okay, so that's kind of the next 30 days. And then that'll bring us into the Christmas season, and then we'll kind of figure out, you know, where we go from there. But the big work after December 9th is going to be on this leveraging the group for sure, because that is huge. Okay, let's see. Yeah, then we can help each other, exactly. So yeah, that's correct. Nothing. There's not going to be any videos. Or sorry, there's not going to be any webinars the next 3 weeks. The week of the 18th, 25th, or the 2nd. And we will have one the week of the 9th, and we'll pick what day that's going to be, and that'll be in one of the weekly emails, and it'll be on the homepage. But there will be updates. We've got CrowdForce updates. We've got elite videos and things like that. So you'll want to kind of pay attention to what's going on. The big CrowdForce updates will be the further outsourcing, exports and imports and stuff like that. That'll be the biggest things. But we'll do, and there'll probably be some videos and things like that on those, just depending on, what we think people are going to need for training. Okay. Yeah, Len, I think so. So I hope Len doesn't mind me sharing this comment. Len says, "Great webinar, but I feel you're in the stratosphere while I'm on the runway." And you're not alone in feeling like that, Len. There's this continuum of people on this call and with Trinity Code, and there are people that are, making a ton of money, not just Trinity Code, but other things. And there are people who haven't made a penny online yet. And that's okay, because all of us were, at the I'm not making a penny online yet. And so you should never feel badly about that. It's, how do you ever do it's like anything when you get involved in, when I first started to learn how to fly, I felt like a complete idiot. I had no idea what was going on. And there was, all these people that seem to know everything about anything. And it's very, very intimidating, but you just got to go, screw it. They were like that at one time, right? Geez. And so it's hard until it's not, you just keep at it, and every day you learn something new. And Len, I know that you're learning, because, and we are not the best judge. This is another thing you got to think about, and I'm guilty of this all the time. We are not the best judge of how we're doing, and sort of what we've accomplished. I've talked to a bunch of people, and I've said, who were kind of hard on themselves, and not even regarding Trinity Code, but people, this was more in the business planning stage, when people told me kind of their stories and, what they were doing, and they were disappointed. And I'm like, dude, why are you disappointed? I said, first thing, and they were like, okay, what should I do? And I literally wrote this several times. I was like, first thing you should do is just freaking take a step back and pat yourself on the back and go, crap, I did shitloads more than 99% of the population, you know, and for crying out loud, you should feel proud about that. So I think we're really, and I'm off on a million tangents here, obviously, but I see so much, and so I want to share so much, with everybody. But I think we're just really crappy self-evaluators, and that's one of the things that makes us good because we're always striving for more and more and more. But Len, my point was, I've seen your over the last couple months, I've seen your emails, and I've seen you go from writing one kind of email to writing a very different kind of email, which is a more seasoned guy who knows more, and that's just going to keep getting better and better. So anyway, sorry. Okay. Yep, we will send emails out. I promise. A lot of nice things about Len. All right. Yeah, I mean, so Tom wrote, I need more help from you guys if that's possible. It's more than possible. It's gonna happen. So, just ask. Just ask. Rome wasn't built in a day. Thank you, Kelly. I'm not gonna share that comment, but yeah, James, if you could email me about that, because it's really hard for me to kind of look at calendars and stuff when I'm doing this. So, feel free to do that. Alex, did you answer me and did I lose your reply here? I don't know. I don't see. Oh, yeah, Alex did. Let me sort by. Alex, Alex wrote a couple of replies. I don't know, Alex. If you could just summarize it for me, that'd be awesome. Um, all right. Okay, so would this playbook be useful for outsourcers? Yeah, it would. It would definitely be so. Definitely. Yep. All right. Just looking to see if there's any other questions. When I hear back from Alex, I will. Alex, if you could just email me in the support area, and I'll share with people what you wrote. That would be great. And by the way, if somebody if you've got some really great results, um, if you've got some really great results, and you want to just give me a little bit more color on how you accomplished that or what specifically put you over the edge, that would be great. That'd be fantastic. Okay, so Alex is basically saying, look, it's basically what it is we talked about the three prongs where you get direct traffic, you get traffic from your traffic sources ranking, and then you get the fact that your site will rank for all sorts of long tail keywords using CrowdForce. And so Alex is saying the biggest thing is that his site ranked for all sorts of long tail and what we call LSI type keywords. So okay, sorry if that siren in the background is really getting. Um, Alfred, if you've got some different results between HostGator and Google Analytics, that may be good grief. Siren is crazy. That may be a problem with how you have analytics installed. So you might want to email us a little bit about that, because if you're looking at the logs within your server, or your hosting server, that's usually pretty accurate. So yeah, just maybe email us on that issue, and we might be able to help. All right. How do you know when your site starts ranking? Usually, because traffic picks up. um, so that's usually the biggest way. And then you can also see more and more when you look at again, depending on what kind of software you have on your site to track visitors. you can see that the source is more and more from Google search, as opposed to, anything else. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, Mark, I've got people looking at those issues. I really do. So we got them, and Tim actually has those issues. I promise. Um, Debbie's asking, is it in the training how to get the site ranked for long tail keywords? Well, yes, because you're not really trying. The whole idea is just simply building crowd force opportunities just gets you ranked, bottom line. So you don't have to do anything special. So, yes. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Well, listen, it's 9:03, so we're going to take it easy tonight. We've all earned it. And I really appreciate everybody, it's a lot. We've been doing a lot over the last, 10 weeks here. It's been a lot. And we have a lot more to do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really, really glad that you guys are with us, and we're going to need you, because this next kind of level is going to require all of us to work together. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And please, if you're going to be in Vegas, please, 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 drop me a note, and would love to catch up and say hi. All right, everybody. We will see you all soon. Take care.
The organizer has